Good morning, past traders. It's Thursday, the 15th of May, and I'm just going to do a little video on analysis on the EURCAD. So this pair was highlighted in Nigel's weekly newsletter. We had this pin bar here, which was May, April, March pin bar, which nicely hit this level of monthly resistance here. This is kind of a resistance zone that we've got here, which I'll just indicate with this blue rectangle. So pin bar, pierced that area of resistance nicely, rejected it, and so we're then looking for some downside momentum. We had a nice preceding trend, and on the monthly chart anyway, here are my other levels now of support that could cause problems in the trade moving forward. Moving down to the weekly chart, you can see a little bit more clearly how this pair has been trending. So got this trend line up here, which I think represents quite a nice initial target area for us to be looking to reach, and a slightly steeper channel, and we're just testing the bottom of that in this week, so we'll need to wait and see what happens there. But if it breaks through that, then and we get through this monthly support, then I don't see why we can't at least get to sort of retest this rising trend line. Onto the daily chart, and as you can see here, these are the weekly trend lines that have been. I've added a couple of levels of daily support now. We're actually right on daily support here, and the weekly trend line. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I've also drawn in this kind of descending channel. You can see here that this line, this downward line, has just been respected quite a few times. So I think that's going to offer some resistance to the upside should price make a turn, and so retests of here could be important. Saying that as well, if price actually breaks up through this, then I'll probably consider these trades to be invalid, and I'll be getting out. But hopefully that won't happen, because I won't be left with much profit if that does. Down onto the 4-hour chart, this blue trend line here was the one that was highlighted in Nigel's weekly report, and as you can see, it's broken quite nicely. So if anyone that was trading that purely from the analysis on Nigel's report, then you have done quite well. We'll need to move down to the 1 hour, but there might have been a chance to enter here. I'm not quite sure from memory. Look here. So again, you can see more clearly on the 4-hour chart that this daily support level is improving. So that's 1, 2, 3 touches, and we're on there at the moment. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. And I'll just quickly go down to the 1 hour to kind of look at my entries. So the blue one was the one in Nigel's report. I tend to be a little bit more aggressive, and there was a rising hourly trend line here. Now, from memory, I think I took this trade. I would need to check my notes, but I'm pretty certain that I entered on this break of that trend line there, and it looked really nice. By here I was down to break even, and then it just reversed and took me out. So that was unfortunate, but a break-even trade, that's what you have to expect for this strategy. You're not always going to get a home run on your first attempt. And I kept, looking at it, and you notice how it actually bounced off this trend line just really nicely. Another rising trend line here on the early chart, and I took this trade as well. I think it was on this candle right here. Let me just put some shapes around all my entries. So again, I took this and once again moved off nicely, and this big candle, spiky candle here, took me out at break even again. Now this was actually in the middle of Draghi's press conference. Price just went wild for a little while, so I stopped it at break even, and I actually just pretty much instantly entered the market short again as soon as I saw that the price was struggling around this hourly level of resistance. And so my entry was just in this area here. So that is now up quite a substantial amount. You get the tool out here. Let's just say it was there. We're now up 272 pips on that entry. So, it's good. And the hope is that should we get a more meaningful retracement, that I'm not going to get stopped out at break even on that one. However, looking back at the weekly chart, there's still some room here, I think, for some further downside. Going down to that trend line there, you still got another 300 odd pips. So I don't want to miss out on that potentially large move. And so yesterday I actually took a fourth entry, which was on this candle here. I didn't wait for it to close. As you can see here, it broke down through that trend line, and I just entered at the market. My stop was about here. It stops now at break even, and as we can see, price just hung around there for most of the day yesterday, but come the evening, it was, what time was that? 6 o'clock. So I think that was about 4 p.m. UK time. Price did start to move, and then overnight it has retraced, but it is beginning to make its next leg down by the looks of things. So all things considered, really happy with this trade at the moment. It just shows that it pays to read Nigel's reports, because the EURCAD is not a pair that I have looked at in the past really. So thanks for that, Nigel. I will keep you updated on the forum as to how these trades are going, but should this begin to come down and start to retrace, I'll probably look at taking off this position here, because this is much more likely to be taken out on a retrace than this position up here. So I'll be keeping this one on, and I'll be using this position probably as to bankroll other positions. Okay, happy trading everyone. Bye.